I suck at giving feedback. I mean, worst of the worst of the worst of the worst. But I'm pretty good at getting feedback. And I don't know if that's because I know how hard it is to give it. We're going to talk about feedback today, baby.
I think everyone is on one side or the other. You're either really good at giving feedback or really good at getting feedback. We're going to talk about that today.
Next Level Nation today for episode number 2264. Don't give it if you can't take it. Nice. A little demonstrative to start, you know what I mean? A little demonstrative.
Great adjective.
That is a great adjective. Okay. You get feedback all the time. You have asked for feedback so many times over the 9 years, coming up on 9 years of you and I working together. Many times from people you shouldn't have asked for feedback from, for sure.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And you've given
I'm with
a lot
you so
of,
far.
Yep. And you've given a lot of feedback. What?
You think so?
Yes, especially on my end. Yes, I do.
Okay.
What have you seen as the relationship between somebody who's really good at getting feedback and or good at giving it? Or is there any relationship from your perspective as somebody who has worked with so many people and given them feedback?
I feel like I'm terrible at giving feedback. Not terrible. Okay. But when I said in the opening that everyone is either really good at giving it or really good at getting it, I think I'm really good at getting it.
I think you're good at giving it.
I've worked on it. I'm not naturally good at it. The amount of things in my head are always way higher than the amount that I can. That's why I love coaching, because I get to give feedback. I get permission in advance.
When you
pay me for feedback.
When you say to give it, do you mean giving it accurately or just giving it in general? You know, some people,
the accuracy part, I feel like I'm good with accuracy. I think I struggle with the social courage necessary to share my truth with someone.
Okay.
Because they get so damn offended.
With the
even
people,
though I'm trying to help.
With the people that you've worked with, has it been similar where they're really good at giving or getting?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. I'd say that tracks.
Is there anybody, obviously anonymously, that you have in mind that's really good at giving it and getting it?
No.
Interesting.
Emilia, but only through massive work on that.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anyone who's equally good at both. Emilia is 1,000 times better at getting feedback than giving it.
Why?
Because some people are very delicate and can't handle a ton of truth. So there's something called himpathy, where a female in a heterosexual relationship will dance around a man's insecurities. Happens all the time. For the ladies listening, you know what I'm talking about. And because men are so insecure when it comes to being incompetent in fucking anything. Like, you can't go anywhere near anything that's sensitive. So there's an actual term for it, which is basically women just tiptoeing around the delicate sensibility of their wildly emotionally mature male counterparts.
Interesting.
Yeah. And men are emotionally less mature, for sure. Statistically speaking, that is, I will say that for sure, without a question. That said, as a man who's done a lot of work, therapy and all this stuff and coaching couples, and in hindsight, I was way more immature than I thought, for sure. And I don't think more immature than most men, but I do think more immature than I ever imagined, because now at 37, reflecting back, it's, okay, emotional maturity wasn't exactly the main focus. So back to this. I actually think that giving feedback and taking feedback is an indicator of emotional maturity.
Why do you think that it's hard to be good at both? Just for
because
anybody.
You usually only practice one. So people who are extremely good at giving feedback are really good at it because they're always deflecting blame. Christina wouldn't mind me sharing this. Christina is one of our chief officers, and I playfully refer to Kevin, myself, and Christina as the three cowards. I am joking because I think we're extremely courageous, and I'm done with the cred hits of that because people actually think I mean that. Like, I actually think we're cowardly. No, statistically speaking, we're unbelievably courageous. I just think it's funny because we want to give 100% feedback, and we only end up giving 30%, which is still more than most people give. But anyways, so Christina is unbelievably good at taking feedback. She takes ownership for everything, too much ownership. I think everyone is on one end or the other. You either take too much ownership or not enough. And the people who take not enough are always pointing fingers. They're really good at blaming.
Yeah.
You can blame the government and you can blame the company, blame the CEO, blame the shareholders, blame the policies, But those people are terrible at growth mindset and they're emotionally immature and they're stunted because of it. In past relationships, I have one person I'm thinking of, like no matter what happened, I was pointing at me and she was also pointing at me. And then I would get better and the relationship would get worse. And I eventually realized like, oh, you're like not getting any better. And I'm getting better over and over and over again because I'm getting all the feedback, which is what I wanted. And this is where the givers need to set limits because takers have none type of thing. Like if you and I are both terrible at giving feedback and both really good at taking ownership. So that's why we work. Me, you, and Christina work because we all want to take all the ownership.
Yeah.
If something goes wrong, I think it's my fault. Kevin thinks it's his fault. Christina thinks it's her fault. Well, awesome. We're all equally wrong and we're all ready to change and improve, which is why we work together. But we've had team members in the past that were they were like, okay, I take ownership and then they're pointing at me too. And I'm going, wait a minute, you're like not that great. You know that, right? Okay. But that's really hard to say because you don't want to be mean. Okay. Constructive feedback often comes off as very mean.
If you want to take ownership of your life and therefore have the potential to take ownership of your business and take control of your business, we have a masterclass coming up when and what?
Next Thursday, the 4th of December.
4th of December.
Mm-hmm. First Thursday of the month. It is on the top 5 fundamentals of business you must understand to be successful long-term, assuming that you want to do it the tried and true fundamental way and not lie, steal, cheat, or anything negative. So if you want to do it the hard way, the real way, the fundamental way, that's what we're going to teach.
My thesis is I have taken so much feedback and I realize how painful that feedback has been that I don't want to do that to somebody else. And maybe that's just an excuse. I don't know. That's the excuse that maybe I'm telling myself. But over the last 9 years, I have taken so much fucking feedback to the point where now I just expect it. And usually I said something to Alan today. I was like, yeah, we have a client that I don't think is going to continue. And I kind of fucked up the beginning of it. And well, you said that. You're like, you really fucked that up. And I was like, yeah, I did. And I don't think this person's the right fit for us anyway. And I'm going to get feedback and I'll give them feedback today. But that's on me.
Let's be anonymously. We did an episode yesterday on the 6 character traits of an unsuccessful person. If I had to pick a 7th, this might be it, which is you just can't take any feedback of self. The people who can't sit in the discomfort of sucking at something and pointing out flaws, it's the fixed mindset. If you have a fixed mindset and you don't think you can change, feedback is just pain.
Yeah.
And if you think about a lot of the people throw around the word narcissist a lot, but really what narcissism is at its core, if you study it, it's a protection mechanism from someone who doesn't believe in themselves. If they don't believe in their ability to change, they'll just deflect all blame all the time, and they'll be emotionally immature and selfish, and everything will be about them all the time, even though it seems like it's not. And those are the people with birthday weeks and birthday months and that kind of stuff. Like, it's very emotionally immature to have a birthday week. Genuinely. Like, it's time to grow up.
Do you think it's an excuse that I'm so used to getting it that I don't want to give it because I know what it feels like?
No, I think it's valid and it's still holding you back.
I would agree with that. So
I think some of it is out of self-preservation. You don't want to get rejected. You don't want to be unaccepted. You don't want to be the bad guy.
I don't want people to attach pain to me, I don't think.
Yeah, you like being liked.
I do, yes, very much. And I enjoy that.
Being a leader requires you to be courageous and to not be liked all the time. It's the worst. Genuinely, it's the worst. I'm not saying it. I posted something earlier. Some people are going to hate it. And that's okay.
That's rough. Okay, well, let's get constructive then. We have 5 minutes left. What can we do to help people build the whatever muscle it is to ask and receive feedback constructively? We'll start there.
Okay, if you're on the end where you struggle to get feedback and you're very delicate, that's okay. Just owning that is step one. And now you have to do exposure therapy, and you have to ask the right people to give you feedback. And don't go to someone who's a dick, because they're going to give you an overswing of the harsh truth that's not actually accurate. If you are on the other end and you struggle to give feedback, it's just a matter of social courage. And these people are typically really hardworking behind the scenes out of the necessity. It's almost, and this is, I'll speak for myself, I would rather just work hard behind the scenes than have to give someone else feedback. So instead of confront the oppressor in my life, quote unquote, I would rather just go climb out by myself, and even if it takes 10 times longer with 10 times more effort. And then over time you realize you can't do that forever because you're a leader of a company, and now you have no choice but to face your deepest fears. So some of our deepest fears are, I'm not good enough, so I can't take feedback. Other people's deepest fear is, I'm too much, so I can't give feedback. And the way to start is to identify which is you first, and then start working on it. So if you struggle to give feedback, you have to have social courage and dial up your truth and try to do it in a way that's respectful but candid. I did a BGU episode with a woman named Lauren Johnson, and I had a hard time in that interview because I was trying to challenge her to, she was sharing some things with my listeners that they already know. Like, the 3 C's, clarity, consistency, and commitment. It's like, Lauren, my listeners know that shit with love. Like, I'm here to talk business. Give me what the Yankees were doing, right? And I was red because people think I'm insecure. No, I'm insecure because I don't want to be mean to this woman. She's doing me a favor by coming on the show. I want to be respectful, especially because she's an amazing, empowered woman that I want to be respectful to. And I don't want to interrupt her and say, hey, can you give us a fucking good answer here? Even though that's what I was thinking, for sure. Because she doesn't know the level of my audience. Of course not. How could she? But the truth dial is what you think you actually say to the other person. And let's be real, very few people actually do that. What you think in your head is, wow, okay, well, that person's going to be unsuccessful. I'm going to go over here. But we don't ever give that to them, so they never get feedback. One of the things that I've alarmingly done poorly of, I know we got to get out of here, is I cared enough to tell them. And then I became the villain. And I realized that's a terrible idea, so then I became a coach, and now it's great. But the one where you're hard to take feedback, like, you have to learn how to. And one of the things that I'll share here too is you can't be really successful and in a vacuum where you don't get negative feedback. Like, people are going to shit on you for things that aren't even true, never mind the things that are true. So then the bigger problem becomes, how do I figure out what is actually constructive and accurate versus people just being assholes?
I would add this too. Try to start receiving feedback in something you feel very competent in. Yeah, bodybuilding in many ways was terrible for me. I'm convinced it helped me take feedback because it was literally the most personal feedback you can almost get as a human. Yeah. Yep. But I believed in myself when it came to fitness, right? So my self-worth and my self-esteem was not attached to my body image as much as maybe somebody else's would be.
Well, you said this before. Whatever you feel the most in control of, start there.
Yeah.
Because when you feel in control of it, it won't be as devastating. Whereas when you get feedback about something you don't believe you can change,
yeah, it's devastating.
It's devastating. It's really hard. It's
not even feedback at that point. It's just pain.
Yeah.
Feedback is with the hope that you're able to make a different decision and go in a different direction. If you don't believe you can, it's just pain.
Just pain, which isn't ever true. You always can do something about it. Yeah, it's just hard to figure out what that answer is, right? So we'll wrap this in a bow, because obviously we've heard a lot from me, but I want to make sure that I think you're on a different side of this. You're on the same side of this, but I think you've struggled to get. Kev's playfully joked behind the scenes, like, some people will say mean things to him now that he's being more successful, and it's fucking hilarious for me because it's like, brother, that's been happening my whole goddamn life.
I'm working through it. Yeah, I don't know. For me, I struggle to take feedback when the feedback isn't actually based in real awareness. Like, if you don't know me and you give me feedback, it's hard for me because you don't know me. It's not real. It's just a representation of what you think. If somebody gives me real feedback and says, hey, that speech was a piece of shit, that's different. Like, you're right, I could have done better here, here, and here. We'll do a part 2. We'll do a part 2 on it. We can dive deeper.
Let's do it.
We'll dive deeper into feedback because I think this is something that we don't talk about enough, that being on both ends and understanding both ends is super important for success.
You have to get good at both. If you
100%.
want to be successful, you have to get good at both.
100%. All right. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And if you are as committed as you say you are to getting to the next level, make sure you tune in tomorrow because we will be here every single day to help you get there.
Keep reaching for your full potential. Next Level Nation.